Welcome back. This is Candace. We ended the last video talking about the wisdom of the heart and how you can actually use that heart energy in order to expand your awareness. By increasing your perception, or what the messengers call your POE or point of existence, your views will expand and you actually become closer to your true essence. Learning to expand your perception increases your knowledge, because as your awareness increases, so does your guidance and your intuitive sight. Also, as we begin to expand our non-physical selves, there's a divine spark within our heart, and that seems to get activated when we are in these non-physical areas. But this beacon within your heart becomes activated, and it seems to call forth higher vibrational frequencies, and it also calls forth others, um, you know, in our three-dimensional reality. Sometimes others will come to your path, people you didn't expect, and you find these little nuggets of wisdom and you realize, oh, this is why I was meant to connect with this person today. It all goes back to that beacon within your heart. But let me get back on track. The messengers had said that the guidance system, which is your point of existence, resides within your heart. And it is a shared point between the human and what they call our dimension. So I thought about that, and sharing a point of existence with guidance, with the non-physical, makes perfect sense. Releasing older beliefs to make room for wisdom that lies beneath is part of this formula. And I couldn't help think about this. A few weeks ago, the messengers talked about a revolution. Now, when they first said those words, I'm thinking, what? Are they talking about revolting? But no, they were talking about revolving, a circular pattern. So I thought, okay, is this a circular pattern of learning? Are we learning to uncover bits of our true nature, cycle by cycle, with each turn or revolution that we make? And I wondered, is this the route to wisdom? So as I was thinking about these thoughts, a vision that I had, just a few weeks ago returned. And in my mind's eye, I saw this building whose foundation just started to crumble. And as the pieces dropped away, I realized at the center of the building were these huge rods and pylons that deeply embedded this building in the earth. And although it appeared as the foundation crumbled that the building would fall, it didn't. In fact, it was very secure. So let me get to the message. The messenger said, humans use the language of words to communicate. In our dimension, we communicate more fully by expanding our awareness through energy. We connect with humans through frequency vibrations in order to augment the communications. Most humans are not able to connect fully with us, at least not on a conscious level. As Earth transitions, however, the connections will become easier. Now, let me say just a few words about this. For those of you who are new to my channel or haven't read my books, this is a common theme throughout, from the messengers. They talk about Earth, and that Earth as a living spirit. Gaia, the living spirit of Earth, she is evolving to higher vibrational frequencies. Now, when they mentioned this in the past, I always thought, okay, that's years from now, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years from now. But with the COVID 19 pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, I realized that, well, I didn't really realize that they told me this, but this is actually occurring now. That all of this that we're living through is part of Earth's evolution to this higher vibrational frequency. So let me get back to the message. As Earth transitions, the connections will become easier. An energy match is required in order for humans to perceive our presence. These subtle frequencies often go unnoticed throughout the human's day, yet some are beginning to awaken. And that certainly was true for me with my spontaneous awakening. As humans learn to rely on their instinctual natures, they will become more adept at recognizing us. And this made me think about instincts. I mean, when we look at animals, they don't analyze and overthink things. They just are. You know, they are always present. And this is what we've, forgotten how to do. It was our first nature, not second nature. It was our first nature. So how do we do this? How do we get back to that instinctual nature? And their response was, this begins with silence. Most humans believe that they must engage their vocal cords in order to be effective communicators. We say this is not so. It is one of those beliefs that need to be examined. Yes, verbal communication is important, but it is limited. As humans engage in silence, they close overused receptors for sound, for noise. This closing creates an opening of a different sort, an opening for listening. Listening brings in the energy of allowing. When humans listen to their environment, they do not create the sounds they hear. Instead, they allow the sounds to enter their awareness. This is the first step in learning to use the senses differently. Shutting down one area creates sacred space for another area to expand. Now, when they said that, I actually got cold chills because this was exactly what had happened to me. I had firsthand knowledge of silence and how silence can change your life. My thoughts flew back to November 2012. That's when my right vocal cord was paralyzed after surgery. I had a bilateral thyroidectomy and I'd lost my voice for 3 months. I could not speak above a whisper. Then I had a spontaneous healing experience that within one day, within 24 hours, brought my voice back to me. You know, in the meantime, before this happened, I was wearing a little microphone and I had this voice box that I would carry on my belt or hang it around my neck on a lanyard. In fact, I had just been to a specialist who scoped my throat and said, your vocal cord is paralyzed. This was after 3 months. And of course, I knew it was paralyzed. But with him scoping this, I now had proof that my condition was documented. I was supposed to go back the next week and start the pre-surgical process because he said he could repair this through surgery. But instead, at a magical event that happened at Monroe Institute outside Charlottesville, Virginia, I was healed in one day. And silence was that first step. I, found out later that by maintaining that silence, I was changing the energy makeup of my field. I wasn't changing it. I was allowing an energy differentiation to occur. An energy change occurred, and I allowed it to occur by being silent. And that definitely changed my life. But that was one of the first times I began to fine tune, without knowing it, my energy receptors. And that allowed me to start recognizing the subtle energy that that is present when you deal with the non-physical. That their energy is so fine and so subtle that quite often it's difficult to actually recognize it. And let me continue with the message. When humans sit in silence, another world opens. This is not new. It is a discovery of what was already present. It is uncovering the gem hidden within. Silencing the mind brings equilibrium to the energy of the body. The mind softens, and thoughts no longer spin in circles in the brain. There is a resting state of the energy. Just as the body begins to rest, breathing becomes slower and deeper. Blood pressure drops. Anxieties lessen. With this calm comes a spark of light. The light has always been there, but the chaos of day-to-day activities keeps it hidden from view. With this settling of energy, you will see that new horizons appear. With this, I had a vision. It was a bird's eye view above a small town, and it was, you could barely see it. There was this big curtain of dust. It's like a sandstorm was there. And as the sand and the dust kind of filtered away, one by one, aspects of the town came into view. First, I saw the top of a large water tower, and next was the steeple of a church that sat on, the church sat on a hillside. And within a short period of time, the entire city just came into view as this dust settled and filtered out. And I realized this was a beautiful example of what they were just saying. The town had always been there, but it had been blocked from my view by the storm. And as the storm dissipated, the features of the city came into view. And, I couldn't help but smile at the vision. It was just such a beautiful representation of what the message had said, that there is a clearing that takes place when we enter a state of calmness. Things settle, allowing us to perceive what has been hidden beneath the chaos. Let me go back to the message. Allowing silence to settle will open your eyes to sights not yet seen. Be ye one with spirit. This is how to connect your essential nature. This is how to connect to your essential nature, to your true self. Step into the sacred space of silence and allow new vistas to appear. For within these new vistas lie the wisdom of the ages. This is your connection to Source, to the unity of all that is. This is a great place to stop. So spend some time today and the next week in silence. Be purposeful about this. As you step into silence, breathe deeply. Listen with your heart. Look with your heart. And realize that silence will start to bring a new dimension to you. It will help uncover the things that have been in front of your eyes all along, but we've not been able to see it. Allow that silence to clear the vision for you so that you might too begin to realize there is certainly more to life than what meets the eye, and allow yourself to connect to that divinity which lies within. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, goodbye.